Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by FPL Salah to preview Game Week 4. 2 transfers in hand, Abdul. What are you going to do with them? That is the question. Loads of options in midfield especially, but also perhaps in defence as well this week. First of all, mate, how are you doing? How was your last game week? Another green arrow.
Yeah, it was a good start, Jack. I got 56 points this week. I'm really happy that Bruno and Rashford returned. As many people sold them, and it's always good when patience pays off. So yeah, Bruno and Rashford were kind of big contributors in that green arrow. But yeah, kind of a good start, I would say. Happy with it, and got 2 free transfers, as you said, for Game Week 4 as well. So it's looking good.
The team overall is looking pretty strong, right? I mean, in terms of players that you want to have in, we're going to come on to individual players, but in general, the structure's looking good. Solid bench as well. I've got to mention it. You do have some bench points there, unfortunately, with Udogie. Yeah. Any kind of regrets in not starting him over someone like a Saliba?
No, because Saliba had Fulham at home. Estepinian had a home fixture, and against West Ham, which it wasn't an easy fixture, but you'd expected him to maybe possibly get some attacking returns. So I would have been more annoyed if I benched Estepinian and he ended up getting points. But yeah, I wasn't too annoyed by Udogie's points on the bench. I'm just glad I got him in, actually, because he was my transfer in. And so obviously he's kind of justified, why I did acquire him. But I was really annoyed about people who got him off the bench this week, which seems to be quite a lot of Gabriel owners.
A lot of Gabriel owners. I feel like they're kind of getting rewarded a little bit.
Yeah, I guess
it was an injustice.
We can't begrudge them too much, can we?
No,
after what they've been through for the first 2 weeks.
Exactly. It would have been terrible. So yeah, if you did get those bench points from the likes of Udogie or Gusto, I say that's fair enough. Anyway, mate, let's have a look at your team for the upcoming game week. Okay, so looking at the team, it looks decent. To be honest, it's probably the weakest your team has looked so far this season, just going by the game week rating of only 94%. Obviously still pretty good. You've got a lot of key players in there which are going to do well. But in comparison to other game weeks we've seen so far, where you've been up at even 100%, it's a little bit lower. I don't know necessarily why that is, but looking at certain players like Saliba against United, maybe now Estepinian is slightly weaker than we thought he was before. Pickford's still in there as well. Just from your perspective, Abdul, what are you thinking with your team and your moves this week?
Yeah, I think the main reason for the rating this week is I've got 4 Arsenal United mids who play each other. So a tough fixture there. But at the moment, I'm thinking I've got a few transfers in mind. I'll go with the one which I'm thinking about the most is either bringing in Sterling or Maddison.
Okay.
At the moment, I think Sterling's the favourite. At the moment, the favourite to go for Sterling would be Martinelli. And the reason for that is Sterling's fixtures are phenomenal. He scored a 19-point haul last week, and I guess it is a bit knee-jerky, but I mean, when somebody scores 2 goals and assists, 19 points, you've got to take notice. And we know, from Sterling's his past record at Man City, he is a proven FPL player. He's proven at this level. He's only 28. Chelsea haven't got any European games, so I don't see much rotation for him. I can see him playing 80 plus minutes, possibly every game. And look at those fixtures: Nottingham Forest next, then Bournemouth, Villa, Fulham and Burnley. Doesn't really get much better than that. So he's a favourite, but also Maddison's kind of staking a claim as well. I think Maddison is probably the better long-term option, but I think, Sterling's fixture in the short term is kind of pushing it for me.
Such a tough one. I mean, it's one that I'm deliberating so much. I feel like a lot of the community are. It's just whether you think perhaps that it was just a flash in the pan for Sterling. Yeah, he looked good in the previous 2 games, no doubt about it.
He did.
A couple of great games. West Ham, especially in the first half, was probably the best I've ever seen him play for Chelsea. But didn't actually really get any return. I mean, yeah, he won the penalty, but apart from that, didn't necessarily look really threatening in terms of goal output or creating chances or anything like that. I mean, total shots was pretty low before the Luton game. I think he just had 1 shot in both those game weeks combined. Do you think we're perhaps putting a little bit too much emphasis on the fact that it was just 1 game against Luton, who look, with all respect, a pretty weak team that we may end up targeting in future?
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing was, though, the first 2 fixtures were Liverpool and West Ham, which are tough fixtures. So I don't think anybody was surprised that he blanked in those. And then I don't think anybody was surprised he got a big haul in Luton either, because obviously, fixtures breed form, really. And if you look, at the next 6, he's still got good fixtures. So, I mean, if you think, he's a flat track bully, that he's going to only perform in this, against smaller teams, and it's a perfect time to bring him in because, he has got the fixtures there. So, yeah, I just think, when with players like Sterling, they've got not only has he got good fixtures, but he has got the underlying data, from previous like 5, 6 seasons at Man City,
Yeah.
where he was like, hitting double digits in goals. He scored 20 goals, but 3 seasons ago for City as well. So obviously Chelsea at City, but I think at Chelsea, he probably get more minutes than he did at City. I'm not saying he's going to hit 20 goals, but easily he could get double digits for goals and double digits for assists again this season. Again, I said he's only 28, Jack. I mean, it seems like he's been around forever, but he's still young. He's probably not even hit his prime yet, or he's probably in that phase just now. So I'm really confident about him as a player and as an FPL asset.
Yeah, I mean the way he's talking and acting is very, very positive.
Mhm.
Almost as if it's the second half of his career now that he's coming into. And yeah, as you say, 28-year-old winger, the likes of Salah, for example, that is prime age. We've seen it over the years. Now, I want to ask you about two other midfielders. One of them that you have already in Mbeumo, and then Foden as well. You didn't mention Foden there when you're talking about replacements for Martinelli. Why is that? Because I feel like before last game week, everyone was very hot on Foden, and the only reason he didn't play was because of illness. He still came on the pitch. Yeah. Otherwise, safe to assume he would have started, as much as you can assume that sort of thing. Why has he kind of gone from our radars?
I don't know if he has. I mean, I think the people who got him in kind of knew what they were getting. I mean, yeah, he was ill, but there is always that, that chance that a City midfielder is going to get benched. I mean, if you look at City's next, like 4 games, for example, Fulham, West Ham, Nottingham Forest, and then Wolves, right? Great fixtures, but are you confident that he's gonna? I mean, can you tell me with certainty that he's gonna start all them games with Maddison and Sterling? I'd say yeah, I'd be very certain that they do start the next 5 or 6 games, and then when you've got Maddison and Sterling there on the same price point, like for me, it's like, why take the risk on Foden when you've got 2 assets who are just as good when you're looking at underlying numbers, but, they've got the minutes there and you won't have to, be, sitting there waiting for Pep's, team sheet coming out, nervy times. So yeah, I just think, for me, he's a good option. I mean, I wouldn't tell anybody not to get him. I think if you're, if you fancy Foden, then, the fixtures are there, underlying numbers are there. He will get more minutes this season because, De Bruyne's injured, Gundogan's gone, Mahrez is gone. Those first 2 games as well, he played 90 minutes in the first 2 games. I'm pretty sure if he wasn't ill, he would have started that game, last game week, and probably would have got close to 90 minutes as well. So, but going forward, and after game week 4, Champions League starts as well. So then you've got to worry about the midweek games.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's you don't have that with the others, do you?
Exactly. None of them have got European football. So I think from an FPL point of view, I think for me it's pretty simple. Foden is the third best option out of them 3.
And then a player that you have in your team already, Mbeumo, he's in a lot of teams already. But for someone like me who doesn't have him, in comparison to the likes of Sterling, Maddison, Foden, perhaps more exciting players, where does Mbeumo rank among those 4? And can you rank all 4 of them now for us from 1 to 4? Who would be your priority transfers in if you had none of them?
I think with Mbeumo, obviously he's not as good an asset, in isolation as other 3, but he's only 6.5 million. So taking that into consideration, I'd probably still put him top, just due to his price. I think at 6.5.
He's 6.8 now. It's gone up again.
Wow, he's 6.8.
Yeah.
Even at I didn't realize he went up to 6.8. I knew he was 6.7, but even at that price, Jack, I'd still probably put him at the top because Brentford's fixtures are awesome as well. And again, he's nailed on for 90 minutes, right? With no toners in it, and he's on penalties as well. And he's a midfielder, pretty much, kind of playing out of position a lot of the time. So he'd probably still be in my top, even though I don't think he's going to score more points than Sterling, Maddison, and Foden. But yeah, Mbeumo would probably be top, and then I'd say Sterling, Maddison, and Foden.
Oh, okay, that's an interesting one. I feel like it's between those 4 midfielders. Well, definitely the likes of Sterling, Maddison, and Foden, if you already have Mbeumo. But if you don't have Mbeumo, it's got to be one to consider still. All right, let's talk about your defense. I mentioned it already. This game week in particular doesn't look great. Saliba, I got the clean sheet in game week 2, but kind of, flattered to deceive last game week. Yeah. They don't look great defensively, do they? Like, quite a lot of mistakes going on there. Is he a player that you're looking to move out?
Yeah, in fact, I was looking at a City midfielder, like, this week, if I wasn't, because I'm not comfortable with taking Martinelli out of my team. I'll be quite honest with you, because he's a great asset still. I know they've got Man United at home, but that could be like a high scoring game. And then, Arsenal are probably the second best attacking team in the league, I'd say, still. Probably just ahead of Liverpool. So I still like Martinelli as an asset, but I just think with the fixtures and with the price points, like, with Maddison and Sterling being cheaper, I think it probably is a good move to move him on. But yeah, I was looking at you know, if I was, you know, decided to keep Martinelli, then, you know, Saliba would be probably the one to go for a City defender because, you know, City, I'd probably play, you know, if I get a Diaz or a Gavardio, I'd probably play them every week. And they are the best defence in the league. Quite unfortunate to concede against Sheffield United. I was really surprised. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely on the chart. I mean, Saliba is by, you know, an Arsenal defender is by no means like, you know, kind of essential now. They've got Man United next and they've got Spurs. And then they've got Man City and Chelsea in the next 6. So I mean, if I'm looking at their next like 5-6 games, I probably see like at the max 2 clean sheets there. So unless you've got like, you know, unless you can rotate Saliba with your other kind of defenders, you know, he's quite an easy sell now, to be honest.
Fair enough. And then finally, Pickford. Probably been the most disappointing of all the goalkeepers in the game, I think, so far. Ones that are playing anyway. I feel bad for owners because he's not even getting save points, which is, you know, at the very least, take Turner, for example. Loses the clean sheet, still comes away with 3 points. Pickford, though, not even making any saves. What's going on there?
I don't know. I mean, one of the reasons I got in mind was like, okay, I know that Everton aren't great defensively, but, you know, they'll keep a clean sheet here and there. And then, you know, if they don't, you know, Pickford will make a lot of saves. But, you know, it's been the total opposite. I think he's like saved 1 shot or something. So yeah, I mean, obviously I think it's hindsight, but yeah, he's been probably the worst pick so far. But he is way down the kind of priority list in terms of like on the chopping block. You know, I'm not going to waste a transfer on a keeper, you know, when I've got other kind of issues and more upside to chase in the attack. So I guess I'm just going to have to kind of you know, roll with him for now and see how it goes. He's got Sheffield United next. You know, again, a good fixture, but he probably concede in the 88th minute again with his first shot.
0 saves, mate. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It is a strange one, but yeah. Okay, there you go. That is your team and current thoughts for the upcoming game week then. I want to see now if Fantasy Football Hub's AI recommended transfers might tempt you in a different direction or kind of confirm and support what you're saying throughout this video. So then, mate, here they are. And to be honest, it's the latter. Saliba is recommended to be sold this game week for Gavardio, so the City defender you just mentioned. Then one player that you've mentioned that you're not really comfortable selling throughout this video is Martinelli. They're suggesting you keep hold of Martinelli. Yeah. But it's actually Mbeumo that's being recommended to be sold for Foden, a player that you don't really like but does really well on predicted points.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? First of all, let's do Saliba to Guardiola. It's a move you pretty much mentioned, right?
Yeah. I think that's a good move. I think that's like, it's a sensible move. And I guess if it was to keep Martinelli, then it would be the move I'd make, either a Saliba to Guardiola or Diaz. So yeah, I really like that move. It's sensible. I guess it's got less kind of risk attached to it in terms of, you know, getting rid of Martinelli, who could haul in any game. And yes, City have obviously, as I said before, best defence in the league. And, you know, Arsenal's fixtures aren't too good for clean sheets in the next 6.
So yeah, that's the one move, and then the second one I think is the controversial one that let's see your thoughts. And Mbeumo out for Foden. It wants you to keep Martinelli. Why is that?
I mean, the only thing I can think of maybe is because of Newcastle in Gameweek 5, but they've got Bournemouth at home. Like Newcastle away is a tough game, yeah, for sure. But then they've got Everton at home, Nottingham Forest. Then they got United away and then Burnley at home. So like up until game week 9, you know, I think for me is a keep. And the way Burnley play as well for me is like, you know, they're quite an attacking team. And I can just see them, you know, easily scoring against Newcastle and United, even though it's 2 away games, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I guess it's that, and I guess it's just due to the fact, you know, Cities have got amazing fixtures and they're the best attacking team in the league. So yeah, I can probably kind of understand why it's recommending that, but yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the second transfer.
I'm not sure I'd do that myself, but I do feel like this is one of those weeks where a lot of us are going to be selling Martinelli, and it's not like a necessarily tough fixture, right? You wouldn't be shocked if he came away with a strong point haul. I mean, there could be more space for him in a game like this. Not
at all. But then I'm just thinking of it over the next. So up until game week 9, I see Sterling and Maddison outscoring Martinelli, because they've got. As I said, they've got Spurs at home in game week 6, which I guess, again, isn't a tough fixture, but, you know, it is, you know, relative to the rest of the field. And then they've got Man City and Chelsea in 8 and 9. So yeah, up until game week 9, 10, I can see Sterling in that. So that's how I'll judge that transfer. I won't just judge it on the one game week. I'll judge it on, you know, up until game week 10. If I do make that transfer, and then I'll see what happens up until then. But I would be quite confident that they do that. But it is kind of tough, you know, getting rid of good players for another good player.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's always, because it's a psychological thing. It's always in the back of the mind that you know, it could backfire, and it's always the worst when that happens. You know, the week you take out that player and he hauls that week.
It's terrible, isn't it? I mean, this is the thing for me this week. I'm pretty confident I'm going to do 2 midfield moves, Mitoma and probably Martinelli out.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to decide between the midfielders that I'm asking you about. And I just know that it'll be one of the ones I don't go for will explode, and the two I do just won't do well. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
They are your AI recommended transfers. And guys, if you would like your own personalized AI recommended transfers to your team, sign up to Fantasy Football Hub. As you can see on screen, win your FPL Mini League or get your money back and get 50% off Fantasy Football Hub, all linked down below. The reason I'm saying that is because you actually only now have a few days until that deal is gone. It's going to end this game week, confirmed. So if you want to take advantage of it right now, obviously runs for the entirety of the season. You get your own AI recommended transfers, team reveals from people like Abdul really close to the deadline when you have your confirmed transfers made, all the Opta stats, comparison tools, great articles. I mean, what else is there? There's so much stuff on there. Price changes, the most accurate price change website there is. That's just one thing that Fantasy Football Hub have to offer. That's for free. You can check that out right now. And yeah, sign up. There we go. I mean, I think I've got for everything there, but there's probably about 10 more things that I've failed to mention. The Hub just has so much to offer this season. Every season there seems to be more and more. So yeah, take advantage of that. Link down below. Abdul, thank you very much, mate. Good tips and advice there. I still have no idea who I'm going to go with in my team personally, but yeah, to see
from what you said, because you haven't got Mbeumo right, I'd probably do Sterling and Mbeumo.
Yeah, the thing is, I love Maddison. Watching him against Bournemouth was an absolute joy. That is why I like football, for players like that. It was just brilliant.
See, the reason I've got Sterling ahead of Maddison is because that Arsenal-Liverpool fixture in Game Week 6 and 7 for Maddison kind of puts me off him.
I know, yeah.
And then I think from Game Week 9, when Chelsea have Arsenal, when they're kind of good fixture on out, Maddison has Fulham at home, and then they've got some good fixtures going up. So that's what I'm thinking in my head at the moment. It's a long time away, so a lot can happen. But I'm thinking Sterling now until Game Week 9, and then move up to Maddison for the good fixtures. But yeah, again, Maddison could easily score in those two tough fixtures as well. He's that type of player, so it is tough.
To me, I'm thinking just go for the two players that I know are just great players in general that play for great teams.
Yeah,
and I can always fall back on an Mbeumo later on if it doesn't work out. But he's very highly owned. It is a bit risky, but I kind of want to get a bit aggressive. I don't know. It's 50-50 right now, but yeah, I'm leaning towards going for Sterling and Maddison. But who knows? Foden could be the play. Anyway, mate, thank you very much, guys. Thanks for watching as always, and Abdul and I will see you next game week.
Okay.